You said you were in the bathroom with Ethan. You were giving him a bath. What happened before you stepped out to get his pajamas?
I wanted silence. I wanted him to stop. I wanted all of that to stop. I'm not a monster. It was just an accident.
So you held him underwater. You suffocated your child for silence, correct?
I was holding him underwater, and I thought, this could be it. This could be the end. And I felt relieved. And then it was gone. And I realized what I had done. And I pulled him out. But it was too late.
On April 23, 2022, paramedics responded to a 911 call from a suburban home in Cedar Falls, Iowa. The caller, 34-year-old Patricia Vance, reported that her 4-year-old son Ethan had slipped in the bathtub and hit his head. When EMTs arrived, they found the boy unresponsive, with water in his lungs and bruising inconsistent with a fall. He was pronounced dead at St. Michael's Hospital 40 minutes later. The attending physician flagged the case immediately. What detectives would uncover in the following hours would reveal a pattern of abuse spanning years.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I want to make sure you're comfortable. You need anything? Maybe some water?
No, I want to know when I can go home. I should be at the hospital with Ethan.
I understand. We're going to get through this as quickly as we can, okay? I just need to understand what happened tonight so we can close this out.
I already told the officers.
I know you did. And I read what you said. I just want to hear it from you directly because sometimes things get lost in translation, you know? Details get mixed up. I want to make sure we have your words.
Fine. Ethan was taking a bath. He always takes a bath before bed, every night at 7:30. He likes the routine. I was in the bathroom with him because you can't leave a 4-year-old alone in the tub. I stepped out for maybe a minute to get his pajamas from his room, and when I came back, he was face down in the water. He must have slipped. I think he was reaching for his toy, this little boat he likes, and then he slipped in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled him out immediately. I started CPR. I called 911 right away. I did everything right.
You did CPR?
Yes. I learned it when I was pregnant because I wanted to be prepared.
For how long?
Until the ambulance came. Maybe 8 minutes. Maybe 10. I don't know. It felt like forever.
That's a long time. That must have been exhausting.
It was. My arms were shaking by the end. But I had to save my son.
I bet. Now, you said you stepped out to get his pajamas. Where were the pajamas?
In his room. His dresser.
And his room is where in relation to the bathroom?
Down the hall. Maybe 15 feet.
So you would have been gone, what, 30 seconds? A minute?
Something like that.
Right.
Patricia's account contained a specific detail that would become critical. She claimed she was gone for only a minute. But forensic analysis would later determine that for the level of water aspiration found in Ethan's lungs, he would have needed to be submerged for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Either Patricia's timeline was wrong, or something else happened in that bathroom.
Patricia, I want to ask you about Ethan's medical history. The hospital, they shared some records with us, standard procedure in cases like this. And I noticed he's been to the ER quite a few times.
He's a boy. Boys get hurt.
7 visits in the last 18 months. That's quite a few.
He's clumsy. He runs everywhere. He doesn't look where he's going. I've told him 1,000 times to slow down, but he doesn't listen. He never listens.
Right. And these visits, they were for, let me see, a broken arm in September, a dislocated shoulder in July, bruised ribs in April, a fractured wrist in January.
He falls. I'm telling you, he falls constantly. The pediatrician said some kids are just accident prone. It's developmental, something common.
Sure. What about the burns?
Burns? Which ones?
There's a record here from October. 2nd-degree burns on his hands. The report says you told the nurse he touched the stove.
Yes, that's right. He put his hands on the stove. I turned my back for 2 seconds to get something from the refrigerator, and he reached up and touched the burner.
Both hands?
Sorry?
The burns were on both hands, both palms. If a kid touches a hot stove, usually they touch it once and pull back. Basic human physiology. But both hands, both palms burned evenly?
I don't know. I wasn't watching. I just heard him scream and I turned around and his hands were already burned.
Okay.
Detectives had already spoken with the ER physician who treated Ethan for those burns. Her notes, documented but never reported to Child Services, indicated that the burn pattern was inconsistent with an accidental touch. The wounds suggested sustained contact with a hot surface, the kind that would require the child's hands to be held in place.
Patricia, I want to talk about tonight a little more. When you pulled Ethan out of the tub, where did you put him?
On the floor, beside the bathtub.
And that's where you did CPR?
Yes, that's right.
The bathroom floor is tile, right?
Yeah.
Hard surface, good for compressions. That's actually the right thing to do. A lot of people put them on a bed or a couch, and that's actually not as effective because it's too soft.
I told you, I took a class when I was pregnant.
You did. Now, when you were doing compressions, did you notice the bruises on his torso?
Bruises.
The EMTs noted them. Multiple bruises across his chest and stomach, some of them fresh, some of them older, different stages of healing.
I wasn't looking at his chest. I was focused on the compressions trying to save his life.
Right. But you would have noticed if he had bruises like that before tonight, right? When you put him in the bath?
He bruises easily. He has thin skin. The doctor said so.
What doctor?
His pediatrician, Dr. Wellen.
We'll follow up with him. Now, these bruises, the ones the EMTs saw, they were on his chest and his stomach. Some of them were fingerprint shaped. You know what that means?
No, what does that mean?
It means they weren't from falling. You can't get fingerprint bruises from falling. You get them from being grabbed or squeezed.
Maybe I grabbed him when I pulled him out of the tub. I was panicking. I might have grabbed him too hard.
Some of these bruises are 2 weeks old.
I don't know what you want me to say.
I just want to understand, Patricia. That's all. Tell me about Ethan. What's he like?
What do you mean?
I mean, what kind of kid is he? Is he happy? Does he have friends? What does he like to do?
He's a normal kid. He watches cartoons. He plays with his toys. He goes to preschool 3 days a week.
Does he have friends at preschool?
I guess. I don't know. The teachers say he keeps to himself mostly.
Quiet kid?
He's shy. Around other people. He doesn't warm up easily.
What about at home? Is he shy at home?
No. At home he's a lot.
A lot how?
4-year-olds are exhausting. They have unlimited energy. They never stop talking. They make messes. They break things. They demand constant attention. It's relentless. Every single minute of every single day. It doesn't stop. Even at night, he wakes up screaming from nightmares. He comes into my room. He won't sleep alone. I haven't slept through the night in 4 years. Not once. Not a single time. People don't understand what that does to you. They tell you it gets better. It gets easier. But it doesn't. It just evolves into a different kind of hard. And you're supposed to love every minute of it because that's what mothers do, right? We're supposed to be fulfilled by this. We're supposed to find it rewarding. And if you don't, if you're honest about how hard it is, people look at you like there's something wrong with you. Before I got pregnant, I had a career. I was a marketing director for a tech company. I made 6 figures. I traveled. I have friends. I had a life. And then I got pregnant and everything stopped. My husband said I could go back to work after maternity leave, but after Ethan was born, things got complicated. He was colicky, he had feeding issues, he needed constant care. Someone had to stay home, and my husband made more money, so it had to be me. And then 1 year became 2, and 2 became 3, and now I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't recognize myself. I look in the mirror and I see this tired, angry person, and I don't know how I got here.
That sounds difficult.
You have no idea how difficult it is.
Where's your husband tonight?
Business trip, Denver. He travels a lot, every week, sometimes more. He's barely home. It's basically just me and Ethan, all day, every day. I do everything. The feeding, the cleaning, the discipline, the homework, the doctor's appointments, everything. And when Michael comes home on the weekends, he plays with Ethan for 20 minutes and suddenly he's Father of the Year. Ethan lights up for him. He runs to the door. Daddy's home! Daddy's home! And I'm the one who's there every single day. And Ethan looks at me like I'm the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand what it's like to be hated by your own child.
To give up everything for someone who doesn't appreciate a single thing you do. To sacrifice your career, body, identity, your marriage, everything, and get nothing back but screaming and tantrums and defiance. It's exhausting. It's soul-crushing.
Did Ethan hate you?
No. I don't know. Sometimes it felt like it.
Patricia's resentment was becoming clearer with every sentence. Detectives had encountered this pattern before. A caregiver who feels trapped, who sees the child not as a person but as the source of their suffering. In her mind, she was the victim. But her story still had a critical gap. She had explained why she resented Ethan, but she hadn't explained what happened in that bathroom.
Patricia, I need to ask you something, and I need you to really think about your answer. Before tonight, did you ever hurt Ethan intentionally?
No, I did not.
Never.
Never. I would never hurt my child.
What about discipline? You mentioned discipline earlier. How did you discipline him?
Timeouts, taking away his toys, just as millions of parents around the world do.
Did you ever spank him?
Sometimes. When he really misbehaved. But that's discipline. That's not abuse.
I didn't say abuse. I'm just trying to understand the dynamic. So you would spank him. Where?
What do you mean, where?
On his body? Where would you spank him?
His bottom, like a normal spanking on the butt.
The bruises we found tonight weren't on his bottom.
I don't know where those bruises came from. I told you, he falls. He runs into things.
Patricia, I'm going to show you something. These are the photos taken at the hospital tonight. This is Ethan's body.
I don't want to look at that.
I understand, but I need you to look, just for a second.
No!
Patricia, look at the photos. You see the bruising here? On his ribs, his stomach, and these marks on his arms? Someone held him and squeezed him hard enough to leave marks. And these belt marks on his back?
I didn't do that.
Patricia.
What? I didn't.
Then who did?
I don't know. Maybe at preschool. Maybe another kid.
Another 4-year-old left belt marks on your son's back?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think you do know. Let's go back to tonight. You said you were in the bathroom with Ethan. You were giving him a bath. What happened before you stepped out to get his pajamas?
Nothing. He was playing, splashing around, playing with his boat.
Was he behaving?
What's that again?
Was he being good or was he acting up?
He was being difficult. He didn't want to take a bath. He never wants to take a bath. Every night it's the same fight. He screams, he cries, he kicks. I have to physically pick him up and put him in the tub. Every single night. It's exhausting.
So tonight he didn't want to take a bath.
No, he didn't want to.
So, did you have to force him?
I had to carry him. He was kicking and screaming the whole way.
And once he was in the tub,
he was still upset, crying. He wanted to jump out.
What did you do?
I told him to stop. I told him to sit down and behave. I told him the sooner he let me wash his hair, the sooner it would be over.
Did he listen?
No, he never listens. He started splashing water at me, on purpose. He was laughing about it. He thought it was funny.
That made you angry.
I wasn't angry. I was frustrated. There's a difference.
Okay, and what happened next?
I told him to stop splashing or there would be consequences. And he looked right at me and he splashed me again, right in my face. And he laughed.
So how did you react after that?
I grabbed his arm to get his attention, to make him stop.
Okay, sounds fair.
And then I went to get his pajamas. That's when I left the room.
That's after you grabbed his arm, right?
Yes, after that.
Did you grab him hard or more like you just held his hand?
Not hard, just enough to get his attention.
So at the moment that you grabbed him, was he still in the water or was he trying to get out?
He was in the... I don't remember right now.
Oh, you don't remember. I hear that quite often, you know. You understand what the penalty is for murder of a minor in Iowa, right? You won't breathe free air ever again.
That means life in prison? You can't put me in prison for the rest of my life. That's for bad people. Look, it happened so fast.
Patricia had just made her first significant slip. She admitted to grabbing Ethan's arm while he was in the bathtub, immediately before leaving the room. But her story still didn't account for the timeline, or the injuries, or the water in his lungs. She was still holding back.
Patricia, I want to be straight with you. I've been doing this job for 22 years. I've sat across from a lot of people in that chair, and I can tell when someone's not telling me the whole truth. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm saying there are parts of this story that don't add up. And I think you know that. I think that's why you keep pausing before you answer. I think that's why you won't look at those photos.
I told you what happened.
Yeah, you did. But here's the thing. Whatever you say, we're going to find out the truth eventually. The autopsy is being performed right now. By tomorrow morning, we'll know exactly how Ethan died. We'll know how long he was underwater. We'll know if there was any trauma to his head. We'll know everything. And if your story doesn't match what the medical examiner finds, that's a problem for you. A big problem.
Okay, so I want to get a lawyer because I'm going to say something I'm not supposed to, and I don't want that.
That's your right. We can stop right now and get you a lawyer. But I want you to understand something. I'm just giving you the chance to tell your side of the story. Once a lawyer gets involved, that opportunity goes away. And whatever narrative gets built, either he slipped or you drowned him, you won't have control over it. You'll just be the monster who killed her kid. Is that what you want?
I'm not a monster. It was just an accident.
Then help me understand. I can't know what really happened. All I have is a dead child and a mother who, for some reason, is saying some nonsense.
He wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop. His behavior was disgusting.
Okay, so what?
I was so tired. I hadn't slept in 3 days. Ethan had been having nightmares, coming into my room every few hours, screaming about monsters. I was running on nothing. And Michael was gone, like always. And I needed him to behave. Just for one night. Just one night where he didn't fight me on every single thing. The bath, the dinner, the teeth brushing, the bedtime. Everything is a battle. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when he splashed me, something I don't know, something shifted. I felt this rage, this white hot rage, and I grabbed him. Not just his arm, I grabbed both of his shoulders, and I pushed him down.
Into the water?
Yes, into the water. Just for a second. Just to I don't know, to scare him. To make him understand that there are consequences. That he can't just do whatever he wants all the time. That he has to listen to me.
That's your discipline in full display, I guess. How long did you hold him under?
I don't know, like a few seconds.
Mm-hmm, a few seconds. I think kids can hold breath for quite a bit longer, you know.
Maybe a bit longer. I don't know. I wasn't counting. I was so angry. And he was thrashing. And I could feel his little body fighting against me. And I didn't let go.
So you kept suffocating your son. Okay, continue.
And then he stopped. He stopped moving. And I realized what I had done. And I pulled him out, and he wasn't breathing. His lips were blue. And I started screaming, and I tried to do CPR, but it wasn't working. Nothing was working. And I called 911, and I told them he slipped because I didn't know what else to say. I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean for this to happen. It was an accident. It was just an accident. I lost control for 1 second, and now he's gone. And I don't know how to live with that. I don't know how I'm supposed to go on.
Patricia had admitted to holding Ethan underwater, but her claim that it was momentary didn't match the forensic evidence. The water in his lungs, the lack of oxygen to his brain, the timeline of death, all of it pointed to a prolonged submersion. And there was still the matter of the older injuries, the months and years of abuse that preceded this night. This wasn't a mother who snapped once. This was a pattern.
Patricia, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said you grabbed Ethan by both shoulders and pushed him down. Were your hands on his shoulders the whole time he was underwater?
I don't really like. Yes, I think so.
You think so?
It's hard to remember exactly. Everything was happening so fast.
The medical examiner is going to find bruises on Ethan's shoulders. Bruises that match your hands. You understand that, right?
I already told you I grabbed him. I'm not denying that.
How hard did you push him down?
Hard enough to put him in the water. I don't know. He weighs 30 pounds. Maybe a bit hard.
Was his head underwater?
Yes, it was.
His whole head?
Mm-hmm. His whole head.
And you held him there?
I did.
For how long, Patricia? I won't believe in the few seconds. How long?
I don't know. I told you I wasn't counting.
A minute? 2 minutes? 3?
I don't know. Why do you keep asking? I don't know.
Long enough for him to stop struggling.
Yes, but I don't know how long in seconds.
And you let go only when he stopped.
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain something basic. Because you're either playing dumb or you think I'm dumb. When a child stops struggling underwater, that doesn't happen in a few seconds. That takes time. Let's say, well, you were holding him under for a while. More than 1 minute for sure.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't aware of time. I was in a fog. I was just so angry. And then I wasn't. And I looked down, and he wasn't moving. And I pulled him out.
Okay, were you still angry when you pulled him out?
No. I was terrified.
What were you angry about? Just him behaving bad?
I told you. The splashing, the constant fighting, his behavior overall.
Just tonight? Or that's something you did in the past?
What do you mean by that?
You said you've been dying for 5 years. You said Ethan took everything from you. That's not just about one bath time.
No, it's not just about tonight. Things happened.
Okay, so then tell me about the stuff that happened in the past.
You wouldn't understand. You said I'm a monster already.
Well, you better try. I don't know if you've noticed, but we have a camera recording this conversation. I won't tell you where, but believe me for word. So you better tell me everything before it surfaces in court.
When I found out I was pregnant, I didn't want to be. I know mothers aren't supposed to say that, but I wasn't ready. Michael and I had only been married for a year. I was at the peak of my career and all the future ahead. And then the test was positive, and Michael was so happy, so excited, and I couldn't bring myself to tell him how I really felt. So I smiled, and I said all the right things, and I went through with it. And I told myself it would be different once the baby came, but it wasn't. When they put Ethan in my arms for the first time, I felt literally nothing. Just exhaustion and fear and this overwhelming sense that my life was over. And I waited for the love to come. I waited for months, years, his whole life, and it never did. Not in the way other mothers describe it. I tried. I tried so hard to be a good mother. I read all the books. I joined the mommy groups. I did everything I was supposed to do. But every day felt like a performance. Every smile, every I love you, every bedtime story, all of it was an act. And Ethan knew. Kids can sense these things. He knew I wasn't like other mothers. He knew I didn't love him the way I was supposed to. And he punished me for it. The tantrums, the defiance, the constant need for attention. It was like he was testing me, pushing me, seeing how far he could go before I broke.
Right, and let me take a guess. Tonight was the night?
Tonight I couldn't pretend anymore. I was so tired, and he was so relentless. And for one moment, I wanted silence. I wanted him to stop. I wanted all of that to stop.
So you held him underwater, you suffocated your child for silence, correct?
I didn't mean to kill him. I just wanted him to stop.
But that's the thing. I didn't want to is not an excuse. You're here because of the fact that you didn't stop. You kept holding him and you were trying to kill him. We're grown people here, ma'am. Let's not play these games. Tell me you didn't know people can't breathe underwater.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't trying to just
Patricia, what did I just tell you? You want to play these games? You were thinking exactly what you're telling me now. There's a clear chain of investigation. Your son annoyed you. You killed him. That's it.
I don't know. I told you, he falls. He's clumsy. Same way he fell in the bathtub, that's it.
Oh my goodness. You want to play dumb. Okay.
I don't know what you want me to say.
I want you to tell me the truth. For once, I want you to stop pretending that you're a victim here. A 4-year-old boy is dead, and we have years of medical records showing a pattern of injuries that are not consistent with childhood accidents. So I'm going to ask you one last time. Were there previous incidents where you hurt Ethan?
It wasn't like tonight. It wasn't. I never tried to kill him before. It was just basic discipline. That's how I saw it. He would misbehave and I would correct him. Maybe I was too rough sometimes. Maybe I didn't know my own strength. But I wasn't trying to hurt him. I was trying to teach him.
Same old discipline. What did you do this time?
I would grab him, shake him. Sometimes I would hit him, but not punching, open-handed. On his back, his bottom, sometimes his face. When he was really out of control, I would hold him down, pin him to the floor until he stopped screaming. And sometimes that left marks. But I didn't mean for it to. I didn't want to hurt him. I just wanted him to behave. I wanted him to understand that there are rules, that there are consequences. That's what parents do. They teach their children. That's all I was doing. I was trying to teach him. I know it doesn't look that way now, with the photos and the records and everything, but you have to understand, I was doing this alone. Michael was never there. I had no help, no support, no one to give me a break. It was just me, every day, every night, all the time. And Ethan was so difficult. He was always crying, always demanding, always needing something. And I didn't have anything left to give. I was empty. And sometimes I snapped, but I always felt bad after. I would hold him and tell him I was sorry and promise it wouldn't happen again. And I meant it. Every time. I meant it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it would happen again. Because he would push me and push me until I couldn't take it anymore. And I would lose control. And then I would feel terrible and apologize, and we would start over. It was a cycle. I knew it was wrong. I knew I needed help. But I was too ashamed to ask for it. I was afraid of what people would think. I was afraid they would take Ethan away from me. And I know that sounds ridiculous now, because I didn't even want him. Not really. But he was mine. He was the only thing that was mine. And I couldn't let anyone see what I really was.
Okay. Tell me this. What do you think you are, Patricia? Because I'm sitting here and my brain is melting.
I don't know anymore. I thought I was just a tired mother who was struggling. I thought I was doing the best I could in an impossible situation. But now, after what I did...
You said you wanted silence. You wanted the struggle to stop. Did you mean that? Did you mean you wanted Ethan to stop existing?
I don't know. Maybe. Sometimes, when it was really bad, when he had been screaming for hours and I couldn't make it stop, I would think about what my life would be like if he just wasn't there. If I could go back to who I was before, if I could have my life back. And I felt so guilty for thinking it. What kind of mother fantasizes about her child not existing? But I couldn't stop. The thought would come into my head and I would push it away and it would come back. Over and over. For years.
And tonight you decided to not push it away.
Tonight I was holding him underwater and I thought, this could be it. This could be the end. No more screaming, no more tantrums, no exhaustion. And I didn't let go.
You didn't let go, all right. We've already figured that out.
You know, when I watched his body go still, and I felt relieved for just a second. This wave of relief. And then it was gone and I realized what I had done. And I pulled him out, but it was too late. It was already too late.
Patricia Vance had finally told the truth. What she described wasn't a momentary loss of control. It was a culmination, years of resentment and abuse building to its inevitable conclusion. She had watched her son die, and for a moment, she had felt relieved. That detail would be central to the prosecution's case.
Patricia, is there anything else you want to tell me? Anything about tonight or about the years before? Now is your chance.
So what happens now?
Now, you're going to be processed and charged. First-degree murder, most likely, given the premeditation.
But why? I didn't plan this. I didn't wake up this morning and go decide to kill my son.
Maybe not today. But you thought about it. You admitted that. You fantasized about a life without him. And when the opportunity came, you took it.
It looks like it, but that's not what happened.
Patricia, you held a 4-year-old underwater until he stopped breathing. You watched him die. And then you made up a story about him slipping. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
I want a lawyer now. I need a lawyer to protect my rights.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll get one.
So what now? What's going to happen to me?
I don't know. That's not my job. My job was to find out what happened to Ethan. And now I have.
Will you tell people about what happened?
It'll be part of the record, yes.
Everyone's going to know.
Well, what did you expect? You're going to kill your son, remove the noise, and you'll just live happily ever after? Of course everyone's going to know. What kind of question is that?
My mother, my friends, Michael, everyone's going to know what I am.
Yeah, and I think they'll be surprised. You're not the best daughter for your mother, I'd say.
How am I supposed to explain?
I don't have an answer for you, Patricia. I can't make this easier. A little boy is dead for no reason. He had his whole life ahead of him. It barely even started. And you decided to remove the noise. You did it, not someone else. Whatever comes next, you have to live with that. That's the consequence.
He used to call me Mama when he was a baby, before he learned to talk properly. He would reach for me and say, Mama, Mama. And I would pick him up and he would wrap his little arms around my neck and hold on so tight. And even then, even when he was tiny and helpless and completely dependent on me, I felt nothing. I felt annoyed. I felt trapped. I never felt what I was supposed to feel. And now, I never will. He's gone, and I'll never have the chance to love him the way he deserved. I'll never be able to make it right.
See, you understand everything now, and no need to play dumb.
Is that my punishment? Living with this?
I'm not God to decide that, but maybe part of it.
Patricia Vance was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and years of aggravated child abuse. Her husband, Michael, reached in Denver, returned home to find his entire family destroyed. He had no knowledge of the abuse, though he would later express guilt for being absent so frequently. Patricia Vance is currently awaiting trial. She has pleaded not guilty, claiming diminished capacity due to years of undiagnosed postpartum depression. Prosecutors are seeking life without parole. Ethan Vance was buried in a small ceremony attended by family members who are still struggling to reconcile the Patricia they knew with the monster they now understand her to be.